Time to load up this vintage quilt and get it quilted. So when you're loading a quilt onto a rolling frame long arm, you need to start with the backing. All right, next we are going to attach the quilt top to this bottom leader here, and that's going to help me keep everything as square as possible as I am quilting it. Up next is the batting. And then that extra white fabric that we are using as a protective barrier. And now to baste. All right, time to set up the pantograph. All right, so the design I have decided to go with is called Radiant Fan. So it's a take on a Baptist fan, and I think it's going to work well with the time period of the quilt. Baptist fan is a very classic quilting pattern. I think I'm going to shrink the pattern a little bit. I think I said it before, but I want to quilt it fairly densely to really help anchor all of those hand-stitched seams and give it a long life. So each row is going to be 5 inches tall, and that's from the top of one scallop here to the bottom of the next. So each fan is not quite 5 inches tall, and I think that's going to be pretty good as far as density goes without making the quilt too stiff. And now before we start quilting it, I actually just ordered the new Grace Super Scoop foot, and that's going to allow it to glide more easily over all of the little bumps and folds so that the quilt top stays nice and flat and doesn't get caught on the foot. And it just arrived, so perfect timing. It has a really large scoop on it, and it's fairly flat, so it's not going to catch on any fabric. So I'm going to swap out the current foot for this foot. Pattern's all placed. Time to start sewing. All right, it's just plugging away. We're about halfway through the first zone, and I've already had to replace the bobbin. So this is going to take a while. I'm just going to keep going. I have my GoPro recording it, so tomorrow I'll post some footage of the actual quilting, hopefully the finished quilt top, but I'm probably editing this right now as the machine is still going.